Hey guys, what's up? And welcome to Immortal Monster Wrestling. So as we know, last week's Raw review that it was not good, and Raw hasn't been good for the past few weeks. But SmackDown Live has been solid show, and this was a solid show too. SmackDown Live is really the A show right now. And I mean, if you don't consider NXT and 205 Live, Live was a pretty decent show. So the show started with Paige in the ring. So actually, before we start, Paige had already made two matches for this SmackDown Live. One was Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jeff Hardy. No title was on the line, and the second one was Daniel Bryan versus Shelton Benjamin. Let's start with SmackDown review. So SmackDown start with Paige in the ring along with all four competitors of Women's Money in the Bank match from SmackDown side. So Paige was like, "Yeah, welcome to SmackDown Live," and Raw has got some pretty good competitors: Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks. Who else is there? Uh, Ember Moon and Natalia, and but we have got some talented women too. And then Lana cuts her off and says that I'll be the one who bring the Money in the Bank briefcase home. Then Naomi cuts her off, and then they speak. They all cut each other off, and they speak. And then iconic duo came in, and they make fun of Becky Lynch's Irish accent, and they make fun of each and everyone who is in the ring. And then Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose come in, and they say we should be in the Money in the Bank instead of them. So Paige makes 8 women tag match from it. So in the main event. So next up we had. I personally don't think the women should have main evented. Not taking anything away from the women, but I think the male of SmackDown Live are just too much talented. So they should. And AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura segment should have main evented the show because it's the WWE Championship. It's the main event, and I don't even think that will main event the pay per view. It will either be Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal, or Rousey versus Nia Jax, or the men's Money in the Bank, or maybe the women's Money in the Bank. I don't think AJ Styles versus Nakamura will main event Money in the Bank. So next up we had Bryan versus Shelton Benjamin. It was a very good match. So the start of the match was Shelton Benjamin was hitting knees on Bryan, and then Bryan was on the apron, and Shelton Benjamin super kicked on Bryan's knee. Bryan fall down, and then Shelton Benjamin hit a slam on the announce table, which hurt Bryan's knee more, and then Shelton Benjamin was celebrating outside the ring, but Bryan hit a knee from the apron, flying knee from the apron, which he does, and then sent Benjamin back in the ring. And then Bryan started working on the leg of Shelton Benjamin by doing dragon screw, and then he continues to hit on the leg of Benjamin. Benjamin also did a superplex on Bryan for a 2 count, and then there were some different moves. There were some very good back and forth. Bryan doing the yes kicks and other stuff, and then Bryan hit a yes lock on Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin countered it into a single leg Boston Crab, and then Bryan just turned it somehow into the what is that heel hook kind of. It was not exactly a heel hook, it was kind of a knee bar, but yeah, it looked like a heel hook for the win. And then we got Asuka backstage. She says she wants Carmella tonight, so Paige says that yeah, if she wants Carmella, they both will be added to the main event of SmackDown Live. So will now be a 10 women tag match. So and then we have Miz continue that backstage segment continued, and then Miz was with Paige and was like, I want to be the referee for the Joe versus Rusev match, which was made during the show. Because I don't know what Paige does before the show, and she doesn't have any plans before the show. Although she made 2 matches, which was good. So yeah, Paige understood his intentions and were like, yeah, I know your intentions, but she made him ref anyway for the match. So yeah, Miz came out being a big ref, and then Rusev and Joe had a pretty decent match. It was a big man match. It was slow in the middle, but it was a pretty good match. The downfall was that the ending was flat, which was Joe hitting Miz accidentally and then hitting a Uranagi on Rusev, and then Miz was not counting, and Joe confronted him and just snapped his arm. He snapped Miz's arm, and then Rusev took advantage and hit a Machka kick on Joe, and then Rusev took the ladder and hit it with Joe, hit Joe with the ladder, and then put the ladder and was going for to take the Money in the Bank briefcase. I don't know why. To build the momentum, I guess, and then Miz hit a skull crushing finale and on Rusev, and then took the briefcase and stood tall for this segment. I personally think I want to see a Joe versus Rusev 15-minute match without any stipulation, without any bullshit. So next up we have Big Cass interview backstage, and he was again doing the same interview that I'm big, Brian is small, I'm gonna beat Brian and all that stuff. So next up we have the hype package for Anderson and Gallows versus the Bludgeon Brothers, and then Jerry Lawler came out on the ramp, and he was booked to interview AJ Styles. So AJ came in and he said, if Nakamura doesn't stop acting like a child, I'll be acting like a man and I will beat Nakamura. Basically, it was not that bad of a segment. It was just basically done because to get Jerry Lawler do something in his hometown. So yeah, it was nothing special. So following that, we have a match between Jeff Hardy and Shinsuke Nakamura. Again, a pretty good match. This Smackdown Live had four pretty good, two decent matches. It was again pretty good. Jeff Hardy was. I have heard that Jeff Hardy has something that he is allowed to do some limited moves. I don't know if he's injured or anything, but still the match itself was very good. Jeff Hardy took control of the match in the starting, and then Nakamura went outside and was doing the Jeff Hardy hand gestures and was mocking Hardy, and then said, "Come on!" Then Hardy came outside in the ring, beat Nakamura, and then hit a flying clothesline on Nakamura from the apron, and then sent Nakamura in the ring. And then Nakamura took control of the match by that spot was pretty cool, and Hardy was like corkscrewing, not corkscrewing. He was like he does a move in which the his opponent is lying on the turnbuckles, and he just use the ropes and does the drop kick, but Nakamura counters it with the drop kick of himself, and then Nakamura took control in the match. Then Jeff Hardy hit a whisper in the wind and went for the what can we say, and then went for the twist of fate, and he does it, but no, he went for the swanton bomb, but Nakamura just hit the ropes, and which made Jeff Hardy stumble on the turnbuckles, and then Nakamura hit a knee on the back of Jeff Hardy, but then Jeff Hardy hit a twist of fate on Nakamura and then hit a swanton bomb, but his back was injured, so he couldn't capitalize. And when he finally capitalized on Nakamura, then Nakamura put his foot on the ropes, and then we got. Then he went for another twist of fate, but Nakamura countered it and hit a low blow, and then hit a Kinshasa on Jeff Hardy and then counted up to 10. It was a solid angle for the go home show. It made Nakamura look strong, and it didn't make Jeff Hardy lose. So in the main event, we had the 10 women tag match, and the finish was Asuka doing the Asuka lock on Carmella. So this match had some very good wrestlers and some bad wrestlers too, but it was a pretty decent match. So Yeah, and at last we all see all faces looking at the Money in the Bank briefcase and staring at each other. So this was the finish. This was a solid show. If according to Wrestle Talks review ratings, I will give it a Smacktastic. Again, two Smacktastics in a row. It was a very good show. Seriously, some pretty decent, two good matches, and yes, SmackDown continues to be a show, and it is better than Raw. So yeah, this was my SmackDown review, guys. Thank you and have a nice day.